views and opinions expressed by guests and or comments are those of the persons who submitted them and do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of In the Clutch Sports Talk and More podcast. Any content provided by guests are of their opinion and are not intended to malign any religion, ethnic group, club, organization, company of any individual or anyone or anything. Welcome to Open Topic Saturdays, presented by In the Clutch Sports Talk and More podcast. I am your host, D. Early, taking the place of Shownuff Sharita. She had some more stuff she had to do today, so she wasn't able to make it onto the show. Want to give a shout out to Lily Mae, our official sponsor of In the Clutch Sports Talk and More podcast. We got this Clutch FF20, 20% off your entire purchase. That lasts until December the 31st. After December the 31st, you will have to pay full price. Just letting you guys know that. Great product. Check them out. We love them. We love them. I couldn't do this show by myself, so joining me today, as usual, will be my co-host. What's his name today? T. Life Policy Will.
What it do? What it do? What it do?
It don't do none, man. How was your Christmas holiday?
Man, I was blessed, man. I was blessed, enjoyed it. Got a chance to spend time with mom and dad. It's priceless. Don't take it for granted. Hope you guys had a great holiday as well.
Yeah, we had a great time over here. I got I ain't gonna share the last gift I got.
No, go ahead and share that. No, because we want to look back on this type of stuff. I mean, it came across as a gift, and it is a gift. So you may not have absorbed it yet, but it's still a gift. So I think you should share it with the world.
You think I should?
Yeah. I'm thinking your daughter would be happy if you would. I mean, you got to acknowledge it.
Well, it is what it is, I guess. I'm happy. Just my last gift was my daughter let me know that I'm gonna have another grandchild coming. So I guess, hey, I mean, the gift of life is the greatest gift you can give, I guess.
Oh yeah, and like I said, that's the oldest of the clan. So congratulations to her. Because I was just telling Daryl offline, I said, boy, if you would have said it was the baby girl, I was going to be chasing her down Winchester. We don't play that.
No, we don't play that.
Yeah, so yeah, baby girl got some things to do. She got to get ready for the WNBA and play some professional volleyball. So Uncle T. Will can have some tickets and do some stuff in this later life. So
that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Well, folks, today the topic of the show is life insurance. It's a subject that we've been wanting to touch on for a long time, but we were waiting for the right person to get on the show. Today, joining us is a friend of the show. She is a licensed life and health insurance agent. Her target client base is small groups, companies with 20 or less employees, independent contractors, 1099 employees, elderly people 65 or older, and also disabled individuals. If y'all will, please give a warm welcome to the show, Miss Ursula Houston.
Thank you. Thank you.
How you doing?
I'm wonderful. I'm so excited to be here. Did you guys have a good Christmas?
Had a great Christmas. What about you?
That's awesome. I had a wonderful Christmas as well. Thank
Good,
you.
good.
Thank you.
Welcome to
Oh,
coming back on the show so soon. You know, we just had you on another episode of our show about a week ago. Just glad to have you. So you're a woman of many talents.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yes, I am. Yes, I take pride in the different talents that I have. So thank you all for having me on the show today.
no problem, no problem. Well, Ursula, I know we're here to talk about life insurance. So, I mean, if you want to give us just a brief description of some of the other products and or services that you provide.
Thank you. Well, as I do want to commend you because that intro was very nice. Thank you. You gave a lot of the things that's on my portfolio, so I'm excited about that. I love helping people. A lot of people know me from the real estate world, which I still do on the side, but my insurance is like everything that I do all day long, every day. Outside of the wonderful topics that you did say that I do, I also do short-term disability. So it's a lot of people out there that own small businesses, especially the lawn service and also cleaning services. You got 3 or more people. Short-term disability is something that I provide as well as annuities. So I am constantly adding onto the portfolio as long as it's dealing with the health and life insurance to better improve families and companies, small businesses as well, to keep a great staff. Everybody wants to work for a company that allows them the option to buy into or purchase into different insurances. So that's an option that I actually provide for people. So thank you so much.
Oh, okay. That's great.
We ain't got
Well,
much to do. That was a great intro.
I know, right?
Oh, thank you.
Our job easy.
What's that?
I said you make our job much easier.
Oh, well, thanks. I appreciate that.
And that's
Thank
what we need since, neither one of us were prepared to host the show today. But hey, we got to do what we got to do.
And you guys are doing a
And like
fantastic.
I said, it's already December 26th. So show enough, Sharita, since you out there and you looking, you ain't got no more PTO days. I'm just saying that now. No PTO days are expired.
He's so silly. He said, no more PTO days. That's
No
funny.
more
That's
PTO.
hilarious.
You have to make sure you use them up before the end of the year.
For the end of the year. Yeah. Sharita,
Yeah, but
I
hey,
am not mad at
you got to
Sharita.
accumulate them. You got to accumulate them before you use them.
Oh, so she's never accumulated them yet.
Not 1 hour.
Sharita go get y'all when she get back on this show.
You know it.
Yeah.
Look, one of the main reasons why I want to talk about life insurance is because I know every family has dealt with the sudden loss of someone in the family, and that person didn't have life insurance, and the family had to come together, to be able to pay for the funeral and all of that. And it's nothing to be embarrassed about because we all have been through it. It's one of those things that sometimes we just don't think about it because, like, sometimes we say, okay, well, they should have known or they should have had it or whatever the case might be. And then you look at when a 12, 13, 14-year-old get killed, most of the time, you don't have, I mean, not all the time, but sometimes you don't, you're not even thinking about life insurance for a child that's young because you're thinking that, they got their whole life ahead of them. So what we want to kind of do is get into Ursula, just a brief recommend. And I know it varies by age and all, but a brief synopsis of what would you recommend for a low to middle income family? What type of policy would you recommend them for situations such as this?
Gotcha. So, Daryl, thank you for giving me the opportunity to address that. First of all, I would like to give my condolences to anyone that's looking at this show that have lost loved ones 2020 or before 2020 due to any circumstances of violence, natural deaths, and so forth. I do want to make sure we say that first. Second, Daryl, you are absolutely right. A lot of us just don't know.
Right.
I grew up in North Memphis, where a lot of us became friends. And what I like most about the way we grew up is that we were friends in the neighborhood amongst people who we just weren't knowledgeable about a lot of things. Our parents weren't knowledgeable about a lot of things. And then now that we're adults, we have taken upon ourselves to create careers for ourselves. And my passion is to go back to my neighborhoods to make sure that the elderly know what they're eligible for, to make sure that we, our middle-aged people, know what we're eligible for, and also to make sure that the young adults know about life insurance and the different things they're eligible for as well. So addressing that, every family is different. What I do as an agent, I do a fact finding for every person that I meet with. I like people to know, first of all, when you come to me with a question, you don't have to purchase any insurance. You don't have to want anything. I just want you to ask the questions. Knowledge is everything. And I'm an open book. Whatever I can share, I share. So going back to what type of policies that you will actually need when you have a small family, middle income or low income, I like to find out what is affordable first. There are policies for everybody, term policies, whole life policies, universal life policies. So when I listen to the story of an individual, then I let them know what I will recommend. So having said that, a universal life, just talk about it real quick. That's a policy where you can actually pull money out of once it accumulates interest. If one person in the house had a policy and had 3 kids, and this is an honest God truth because I've seen this happen. If that one older person, let's just say middle-aged person, had a policy for 20 years or so, it accumulates money where you can actually pull out. You can pull out money and bury a child in the worst case scenario, right? That's
Right.
one policy in that house. And that's what somebody was saying, that we can't afford anything additional. We got to do what we got to do, right?
Okay.
So that is a policy that you can actually use if you were at the lowest. Now, somebody may say, I got enough money to get my kids a policy, or they want to know, okay, how much is a policy for a child under 18? You can get a term policy for as little as $12 to $15 for a child per month. And that's very affordable. So my job as a insurance rep is to consult with that individual. I want to know how many kids we got in the house. Do you own your house? And these are sometimes some very deep and questions that I ask. But it depends. The reason why I ask these questions is because I have to make sure we're catering to the need of that family. I can't assume that they're low income. I can't assume that they can't afford it, because we don't know what they can afford until we actually ask the questions. Do you own your house? How much is owed on your house? What is your income? Well, do you have any savings? And these may be questions like, why are you asking me these questions? Now, once I get all of the facts out of a person, now I want to know, ma'am or sir, what is it that you want to cover with this insurance? Because guess what? You may have somebody that makes over $200,000 a year, but they may say, look, I just want some money to bury my kids. So a burial will cost anywhere from $7,000 to $10,000 these days, right? So having said that, I may have a family with 4 kids, and they may say, ma'am, I just want to make sure all my kids will be buried properly. So now we're looking at a $20,000 policy, right? Which, once again, at a very early age in life, you can get that policy for about $15 to $25, depending on the age of the person.
That's per
Now,
month.
that's per month. Thank you for saying that. That is per month. Now, let's talk about this. Let's just say that same family say, the mother say, well, I have insurance with my job. I do this, and, I got insurance, and the daddy got insurance too with his job. That's fine and dandy. But what I would like for people to know is that we cannot get comfortable knowing that we have coverage with our jobs only, because our jobs are not promised. We may have a very good job. What was that?
Some great stuff. We need to take a commercial break right quick for one of our sponsors. So keep that, and we'll just pick right back up where we left off after the commercial.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
Tanya Covington Realtor, a multi-million-dollar producer in the Mid-South since October 2000. She is an accredited buyer's representative, a seller's representative specialist, and committed to excellence. Tanya assists her clients with budgeting, home repairs, and the loan process, all the way to closing. Tanya exemplifies integrity, energy, hard work, and creative service in every detail of her real estate transaction. She has built a successful career in real estate for over 19 years in the Mid-South. Clients chose to work with Tanya for her full-service team, ethics, experience, and expertise. Her base is strong, full of loyal, repeat customers. And that is the reason Tanya has been so successful in this incredibly competitive sales environment. Tanya's extensive knowledge of the Mid-South residential real estate market is unparalleled. Her clients have consistently sought her advice and trusted her judgment on many deals. A woman of faith, family, and community. Tanya believes one is not defined by what he or she receives, but by what he or she gives. Please call Tanya anytime without obligation. She is ready to go to work for you today.
That's another one of our Treadwell alumni, Tanya Covington. We always like to give her a shout out. Friend of the show, most definitely.
Yeah.
And I know you can't quote prices over the air, Ursula, because everybody's situation is different, and it's not a one price for everybody type of deal, because different factors factor in. But I'm saying, and I'm thinking that for each person, like in that, let's just take that scenario that you had. Would you recommend at least 10,000 on each person, if possible?
It's hard for me to recommend, because somebody may say, I want to make sure my kids have a house to live in. And the house, the amount, the balance due is such and such. I want it to be paid off. So it depends on what they're trying to do. Now, we're saying, yes, we're just trying to make sure everybody's covered for death policy. Then I would say $10,000 to $20,000.
Right.
Definitely. But once again, a family may say, I want to make sure my kids got money for school. I want to make sure the house paid off. I look at all of those factors to make sure that we're getting the right amount. And the mother may get the $100,000 policy, because she may say, I just want to make sure my babies get at least $10,000 to take home in their pocket if I leave this earth, just so they can be able to afford to get on their feet. So it's every situation would be different completely. Honestly. But if we're just saying to make sure everybody is covered in this house with some type of policy, $10,000 to $20,000 policy, we could do that just to make sure they have a nice funeral.
Yeah.
Let me ask you a question. Y'all getting that feedback?
Not now.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Let me ask you a question. Okay, like my wife and I, we're newlyweds, and we were looking for something for, like, if something happened to either one of us, that potential policy would actually pay off the house. Is that something that you actually do? Does that relate to what you're talking about, or is that a totally different type of insurance?
Well, no, and it can go two ways. So basically, with a life insurance policy, yes, we have people that say, we're a couple, and I want to make sure if I leave this earth, the house is paid off, the car is paid off, and you're also going to write a will for yourself. So you're going to have a will, and you're going to have her as the beneficiary, which we'll talk about. But the will give details where you want your money to go. So that's why I do a fact finding, because everybody is different. You may say, me and my wife, we got 2 houses, and this is how much is owed on each one of the houses. Plus, I want to make sure both of us are buried in such and such fashion, and we want to make sure that we're spending this amount of money on our burials, because we want to be in a certain place that's extravagant, and it costs about this amount of money. So it's a lot of things that come into play when you see an insurance. And a lot of times, a lot of insurance agents, and I'm gonna be honest with you, if an agent is not asking you these type of questions, then sometimes people just trying to get a quick check. And it's not about a quick check to me. It's about making sure the family is secured. You tell me what you're looking for. You tell me what you want. I'll give you some examples so that way you know that, oh, I never thought about that. Because a lot of people get life insurance and the only thing they think about is this is just money to bury my family. They don't think about these are the ultimate things that we can do outside of just burying our family. We can pay off a house, we can pay off the car, but of course you got to remember that the more money that you add on to that policy, the more expensive it is. But once again, if you want to make sure the family is comfortable, it's good to go ahead and do those things. And the sooner you do it, the better, because the older we get, the harder it is to get insurance. And the reason why it's harder to get insurance as we get older is because our health changes every day. I may think I'm in perfect shape and I go to the doctor and all of a sudden they put me on some high blood pressure pills, and then all of a sudden when we're doing this fact finding out, once you agree to the amount that we're going to work towards, then we're going to do a whole health screen questionnaire. And that questionnaire, you have to tell us the truth, because we're able to go into the medical business bureau to find medical information bureau just to find out, okay, is this health information correct? I, as an insurance agent, do not do that. It's just something that you agree to do once you sign up for that insurance. So the company have their background investigation that goes on. So therefore, the earlier we get this insurance policies, the better, because guess one thing will happen. The price is lower the earlier we get it in life. In our 30s, the price is way low. The price will never change. It never goes away. It stays the same. It does not increase because of your age. It stays the same. So it's best to get it as soon as possible, and definitely before anything happens with us physically or our health wise. So
Right. And I want to hit on what Sharita has on her. Sharita said just put her in a box and use that money to create wealth. Here's the thing that I think we have to realize what life insurance is really for. Of course, we can use the money for burial and that's good. But the purpose of life insurance really is for you, for the person who you're leaving this money to be able to maintain their way of living after you're gone, which means, like, say you and your wife together, like your situation, Terry, and I'm sure y'all, I'm not sure, but if y'all splitting the bills or if y'all going about y'all business a certain way, just say you snatch that other person's income away. Now, how are you going to be able to maintain what you were maintaining as a couple when it's now just you? Life insurance is supposed to supplement that. So what Sharita is saying is it's not just about what she's saying is true, because you can use it to create wealth, because that's not just a one-time big windfall where you just say, okay, like for the most part, the way it should go, which is, we would like for it to go this way. Our parents live a good long life. They pass away. They leave us a nice life insurance policy. And with that money, it's not, okay, we take some of this money, we bury them, and then we got $80,000, $90,000 to just party and do what we want to until we run out of it. If we use that money wisely, we can create wealth that we can pass down from generation to generation. And most of the time that doesn't happen in our community.
True.
Yeah.
And
we got to change that way of thinking, because again, I agree with Sharita too, because I've always told my family to actually cremate me and take that insurance money and do something good with it for you. And go ahead.
That's where the will come in at. Because we can say everything we want to happen with this money, and then something about families, that's where greed come in at. So like you were saying, you got $80,000, and then all of a sudden people are like, I want to buy this, I want to buy this. No, our parents left a will and they said 10,000 to you, 10,000, 10,000, and they also asked us to take 5,000 of that money and invest it. So that's where I come in again with the annuities, and that's why the fact finding is so important that we do in the beginning. So I won't run a person away who just want to bury the child and bury the kids. Because see, I could get a lot of people confused by talking about too many different things. And then that one person may be the low income person, which is fine. And they say, only thing I want to do is be able to bury my kids. I can't afford anything more. Because when we say we want to create wealth, which is a good I'm glad she brought that up. It may be a person on another income level that has an extra $300-500 a month that they do absolutely nothing with but put it in savings. They can afford to create the wealth and stimulate a different level of life insurance for their kids.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah, that's why I just want to make sure. I mean, I know it's so many, and that's kind of going away from what we initially were talking about, as far as, because I just wanted to make sure that people knew that they could get burial insurance, so they don't have to go in and necessarily spend a whole lot of money just to have life insurance, just to be able to you know if something happens to a child, or something, you might be the child taking care of the parent. And that
Mhm.
parent might not have life insurance. Just to buy a policy that when that time does come, which we know all our time is coming at some point or another, just to be prepared so that when it do happen, we don't have to say, okay, like some people might want to be cremated. We don't want to be, that's the only way we can send out, that person
Right.
or whatever.
True.
So we want to make sure we're on top of that. And then this might be a whole nother subject as far as talking about creating wealth, because if you looked at it, if you were able to put aside a certain amount of money for life insurance to use it as generational wealth, if you could get $1 million policy, a $2 million policy, if you were able to afford that, and when you passed away, you could pass that along to your kids, that would be so great. But
Yeah.
it goes back to, we don't have the knowledge to even know that we're able to do that, because no
Mhm,
one ever
mhm.
taught us that.
Right, right. And that's why I'm so happy that that you chose to do life insurance, and that people can always go back and look at this. And once again, you could call me and ask questions. Uh, Anything you want to ask me, it doesn't matter. And there's no commitment. You don't have to anything. 901-240-5257. And I'm available to answer any questions. And also, of course, due to COVID, I do have an office at the Clark Tower, but I do Zoom meetings just like how we're doing now. And I can get on a Zoom with you. I'll set up a Zoom meeting, email it to you. You click on, and we can ask each other questions and talk. And I can also sign people up for insurance over the Zoom, because due to COVID-19, we have found other ways of doing insurance electronically. So we just ask the questions through the Zoom, and then I submit your email, and then it comes straight to you via email. And if it's something you're interested in, you just sign it and come back. That's it.
Hold on one second. Let me move you on. I don't want you covered up. I was trying to cover Terry up.
Why you want to cover me up, man? I'm a handsome guy.
That's better.
There you go. Yeah.
I'd
So
rather have you covered up than her covered up. That's what I was trying to say. I didn't mean
Well,
to come.
she definitely is much prettier than I am. Not too much, but
Not too
thank
much.
y'all. Thank you for making me blush on here today.
but there's some good information, and I'm glad that we got you on. One thing that we love about this show is that we're able to have the platform of helping others on it. And we laugh and joke a lot of times, and this is the more in sports talk, and more one of the portions that we try to bring stuff out and try to help our community. We help everyone overall, but this is very important in our African American community, and this is something that we actually need. I mean, like Ursula said, before, that we don't think about these things when we're younger, but just my personal opinion, it's sort of a little bit selfish. I can't speak for everybody or anything like that, but if it's any kind of way that you're able to afford life insurance, you should do it, because it's the people, like Daryl said, it's the people you're actually leaving it to. One of the worst things you can do is to not get the life insurance, and you're able to get it, and put the pressure on your family members to put you away and to bury you. It's not only, to me, insensitive, and this is only if you're able to. I'm talking if you're able to. It's not only if it's insensitive, but it's to me, it's a little bit of stressful. I mean, something happened, your mind is racing all over the place about, how am I going to bury my child? How am I going to bury my mother? How am I going to bury my child or sibling or anything like that? And you're dealing with a lot of stress anyway. So this right here would help take away some of that stress, by getting these policies and doing these things.
Right.
Yeah,
Yes.
and we need to take another quick commercial break. But after we come out the break, I want Ursula, the question I want to ask is, what's a good age to start a life insurance policy, and who should you make as your beneficiary? Think about those two questions for me, and we'll be right back after this commercial break.
All right.
Elite Legacy Logistics. Rise and shine. Let's grind. Are you a carrier? Tired of doing all the hard work yourself? Let me help with that. Are you aspiring to become a truck driver? I can help with that too. Join this $800 billion industry. Let me do the hard work so you don't have to. The best is the least that we can do. Call or text 954-414-7115. You can also email us at info@elitelegacy.net. Got a truck? We have loads. Must have valid MC number. Are you in need of a professional yard service? Call Ernest Payne at Payne's Lawn Service. He provides a quote and a free estimate for gutter cleaning, leaf removal, mulching, flower beds, edging, family plots, and fallen limb removal. No job is too small for Ernest Payne. He can be reached at 901-620-7469.
We're back. Joining us, if you didn't know, was Miss Ursula Houston, friend of the show, Treadwell alumni, and the list goes on and on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think those are two good questions as far as the age that you start your policy, and this is where I think a lot of people mess up, is picking the beneficiary.
Yes, let's talk about that. Age. Years ago, when we were teenagers, I'm talking about us, our middle-aged people, 40s and 50s, we were teenagers. We didn't live in a world where crime was so bad. We didn't see our friends dying off every day. So it took us a little longer to understand life insurance, right? Well, now, due to social media and due to so much crime, the kids that are 18 through 25 years old, they see this and hear about this daily, right?
Yeah.
Social media, Facebook, my friends died. They got a GoFundMe. Mama, what's a GoFundMe? They're learning this stuff early, right? So having said that, a good age to start life insurance for a young adult, 19 years old. And the reason why I say that is because they understand, because of what they see on social media and around them, they understand about the GoFundMe. They're hearing about it and they're seeing people die. 19 years old. Now, then we go back to, can they afford it? Now, if the parents are paying for this for them, I say parents get life insurance as soon as you can on a kid. But if you're like how I was, I grew up as a independent and on my own at an early age. Thank God I got insurance on myself early because I went to California and I knew about life insurance. 19 years old, you can get a policy once again that's really inexpensive, and that policy, the amount will never change. You'll end up with that policy when you're 50 years old and you're still paying $15, and your friends wondering, how did you do that? Well, I got life insurance when I was 19 years old. So if somebody can afford a 19-year-old child that hears this broadcast, or talks to somebody or call me, and if they can afford a small amount of money, $25 or less, I have to do, I can't quote exactly how much it'll be because I have to put it in a computer system and it come back and it generates for us. So, but if they can afford to give up something, that policy stays the same for the rest of their life. So that's a good age to me to start. 19. Who they should make beneficiary? That's a very good question, because sometimes people get in love or fall in love with somebody and they say, I'm gonna make my boo my beneficiary. I do not recommend that, young adults, okay? And I emphasize that once again, I do not recommend this. young adults, people who are not married, do not, this is me, you can do what you want to do. I don't recommend it. I tell you face to face if you were to do this. Make the person that's the beneficiary somebody that is responsible, reliable, dependable, honest, and trustworthy. And that don't have to be your mama or your daddy. Because sometimes they ain't neither one of those. Once again, dependable, reliable, trustworthy, responsible, and whatever one, reliable that I missed out. They need to be all of those things. How do you know they're all of those things? If they are responsible in their daily walk right now in life, then you know that that person is responsible when you leave this earth. Do not get somebody who is selfish and greedy. If they are selfish and greedy now, they will be selfish and greedy with the money that's supposed to bury you. If you got a $20,000 policy and they turn around and put $2,000 on burying you and keeping that money for themselves, which you don't know, but you can judge them by their daily walk today to know how they will be with your money when you leave. Also, you can do a will to make sure that this beneficiary, I got a will and I left a $20,000 policy for John Doe to make sure I'm buried with $15,000 and $5,000. Y'all can do whatever. You know, those things help to separate exactly what you should and should not do with the money. So beneficiary is somebody that you can definitely depend on, who got your back. Somebody, if they help you out with your kids, if you got kids and they're very responsible with your kids, an auntie, an uncle, a sister, or a brother. Once again, family is not always the one to make a beneficiary.
Yeah, and I'm a firm believer of that because, like I said, currently now my mom and my middle brother are the beneficiaries of mine because I know that they are good with money and they're going to do right by me because in a lot of cases, you can't leave no money even to your kids. The kids will get that money, won't even bury
you. Are absolutely
won't even bury you. So, and I ain't just just saying that. That's the truth. I mean, you have, like Ursula said, you have to be careful about who you leave that money and stuff to.
Well, fortunately, my kids are grown now. Well, I all but one. So the way I got mine is split up. I got it's 20, 20, 20, and 40. So they all the 40 is my oldest daughter and the youngest daughter. Their money is together. So when the youngest one turns 18 in February, I'll be going to change the policy again. So it'll be a 20% split for all 5 of my kids. So it ain't gonna be no arguing over no money. I just told them a simple burial, a simple homegoing celebration, and take the rest of the money. And I would really, if they could pool it together and do something as a family. As far as starting a business or doing something, that'll be great. But I didn't put that stipulation on them. I just told them it would be great if they would do that. But it ain't gonna be no arguing over the money because it's in writing on all 3 of my policies.
Good.
Down and split up.
That's wonderful.
Mine includes my grandkids too. So
good.
I got it where it includes where they can't touch anything to after the age of 18. So my mom and my brother knows my wishes about that. So I'm definitely going to take care. I have 4 of them, so I'm thinking about them. And like I said, if it's any kind of way possible, and it's feasible, this is something that you really, really, really want to do. It'll stop a whole bunch of heartache in the future.
Yes, heartache, headache, stress. Because what's written in stone is it. Nothing to argue about. This is who the beneficiary is. This is the person that get this amount of money and so forth. But what I like that you said earlier, Daryl, is you said that you're going to have to change something on your beneficiary once your daughter turns of age. 18 years old, make her an adult. Once that child is 18 years old, they can be a beneficiary. The good thing is you can change beneficiaries whenever you want to. You just contact the insurance company and they can change. So for those who think they're in love with somebody and say they want to put that person's name on there, and then all of a sudden they break up next year, 2 years later, please do not forget to go change your beneficiary. as
Have
I
you
take
did,
my
have you did that? Have you did that? Have you put a beneficiary or somebody you was in love, your boo?
No, but I want
No.
to emphasize because I have sat down at the table with people and they start bringing up names and that name don't have a ring on or nothing, okay, nothing. And I you know, I'm just a consultant, but I want to make sure you're making the right decision. So I'm going to question that. I'm going to question for your own, you know, benefits because I care about my people. I care about my clients. I care about anybody who chooses to sit down in the seat and talk to me, Ursula Houston, through Chosen Management. And that's why my company name is Chosen Management because God has chosen those people who trust me to work with them.
Right. And not only and I think this is important too, and I try to stress this to my kids. Uh, I have well, my three daughters, they all have their own uh life insurance policy, which I mean I'm paying for it, but it's their policy.
Right.
And I'm just kind of waiting on them to get to a rightful age
Mhm.
that they can so I can go ahead and just sign it over to them. Uh which I thought it was gonna be 25, but I don't know. I might have to
Oh,
carry it a little bit longer because for one, I don't want them knowing that they have that cash value building up. I don't want them dipping into it just to be dipping into it, you know. So I might hold off a little bit longer, but I just thought it was important because they've had their policies for it's been 5 years now. So they have their policies have been in force for 5 years, and hopefully it's something that like the generational wealth, they'll be able to,
right.
you know, when they pass away, they'll be able to leave, you know, this money with their kids, my grandkids, and all of that. And it's just we so far behind on everything that it's you know, we trying to play catch up. And when I say we, I'm just talking about people of our color and our community. And it's just no fault of our parents. They didn't know, you know, and now that we know, we need to pass that knowledge on to them so they're able to, you know, because I was fortunate enough because if I wouldn't have got it when I was in the military, I probably wouldn't even had life insurance. I was just fortunate enough to sit down with somebody talking about car insurance, and she happened to mention life insurance and gave me the whole spiel on it. And I was like, sign me up for that too. So I've had my policy since I was 20 or
Yeah.
21. So
Yeah.
that's 30 years and counting. So
Yeah, that's good. That's awesome. Awesome. Yeah, so like you were saying about your kids having that policy since they were at a young age and now they've had that universal life policy that builds up cash value. And that is important because some people aren't as disciplined to not touch that money. So that's a whole nother type of insurance that I would love to speak to you all about. If you call me and have questions about insurance, give me a call and we can talk about the policy that gives the cash value and all of the other options. And once again, we find that out through our fact finder when I ask the questions that I need that will help you for your future because you can actually live off of your life insurance policy if you have a universal life policy. And we can talk about that. It's too detailed to talk about all at one setting over a few minutes on here, but I'd love to discuss that with you guys.
yeah, so that
I'm really interested in that, Ursula. So you come back with a follow up on the show at a later time, and I'm definitely interested in the Universal and learn more about that.
Okay, good, awesome.
so sign him up immediately.
Well,
I'm writing your name down too.
I'm
man, hold on.
I'm just saying I'm good with mine. I'll probably get either my sons or my daughters. I want them to eventually get them another policy on their own. If not a universal or whatever, maybe they could be interested in a term life.
Right.
We didn't even get into that. We might can talk about that in the next segment, but right now we need to go to a commercial break.
Okay.
What I wanted to talk about in the next segment is reasons you may not need life insurance.
Okay.
There's some good reasons out there, which we probably
Really?
never talked about.
Wow.
We're gonna hit that. Actually, I just wrote that down for Terry, which we'll talk about.
But we're going to hit this commercial and we'll be right back with that.
Mm-hmm.
Lily May,
Lily May.
In the Clutch Sports Talk and More podcast. Discount code CLUTCHFF20. You get 20% off your entire purchase. That lasts until December the 31st. After that, you will have to pay full strength.
I'm smelling like mango right now. Can y'all smell me? I'm smelling like mango right now.
So, mango, yeah, I don't use mango. I gave that to Patrice. I'm only using That's Him. I love it. I love it. I love it.
I like That's Him also. I bought some That's Him and still waiting on him.
Is it? Well, you know it's Christmas time. Oh, you right. You say you waiting on him.
Still waiting on him. I bought that That's Him when she first started, and it smells so good. I got it in the bag, just waiting on him.
It does smell awesome. I got to give her props on that one. As we're closing in on this hour, I want to talk about reasons that you would not need to purchase life insurance. Ursula, I'm by you being in the business, I'm sure you got some reasons why you should or shouldn't.
Well, let me emphasize, you do need a life insurance, but some reasons why you wouldn't need. Let's just say grandma passed away, but in her will, she left some money and she said, I want y'all to go and buy a plot. I want y'all to go to a funeral home and go ahead and pay for you can prepay for funeral arrangements in advance. So if someone left money, that's going back to building wealth and also taking care of the family. You can actually be buried off of a life insurance policy somebody else left you. But of course, that would have to be written in a will to make them go and do that, to make sure they don't take it upon themselves to do something different. Make sense?
Yeah.
So sometimes our elderly people are so, and it's a few that's knowledgeable about things. And they know that, all of us know that we're going to be born and we're going to die. And they actually go and they set up, I've seen several people, older people like this, they go ahead and pay for their arrangements in advance. And they say, I want to go ahead and make sure my kids have arrangements too, because I know my son don't have anything. And they'll say, once this policy pays off, I want this. So that's one reason. Another reason why you may not want to get a life insurance policy, which is what I have added onto my portfolio. It's a whole other topic, but it's annuities. But call me and we talk about annuities. Annuities can actually work just like a universal life insurance policy that we were talking about, Terry. And I wrote your name down here because I said I'm going to talk to you about the annuities, okay? As well as universal life. But somebody may have an annuity fund. An annuity fund could work just like a life insurance policy as well. Because it holds money as cash value, but you can't get it out until after a certain age, but you're paying into it. So in that scenario, that would be a reason why. Now, if you die before that age, then that's a different thing. Now, did you have another one that I probably missed on, Daryl, that you were saying? Because I know you said it's a lot of reasons why.
Yeah, it's so simple. You almost don't even think about it.
What is it?
If you're already well off,
Right.
You need life insurance.
And that goes into the annuities, because nobody's gonna have annuities unless they can afford to do so. And we can talk about that later. But let's talk about something real quick. I know you said about the term and different. You brought that up earlier about term policy.
Hold on, let me hit on this right quick. And what I was saying about being well off is if you are debt free, let's say you've been saving all your life and this and that and all of this, you might get to a point where you say, okay, now my income and all of that is greater than what my life insurance policy would be. So you might decide, okay, at this point, I can either cash it out or whatever because I don't need it anymore because I'm debt free. I got arrangements already set up, like you said, Ursula, to take care of me, take care of my wife, take care of everybody. So at that point, you wouldn't even need to be investing back into a life insurance policy because you already got everything covered. I just wanted to clear that up so everybody would understand that.
That's good.
Hey, did I catch that right? Did you ask Patrice to marry you yesterday or something? I heard you say my wife. I didn't know if I missed anything. Did you pop the question?
No, I didn't pop the question, but when I reference stuff like that, it's like in reference to you and other married people. So
Okay.
it didn't necessarily reference me. So yeah,
I didn't know. I didn't know if I needed to clap, or you know.
No, I already gave you one thing to clap about today.
Yeah, so funny, Terry. That was funny. Yeah.
When it does happen, Terry, I'm guaranteeing you that you will be the first one to know.
All right. That's what I'm talking about.
I better be second. You better send out a group message or something.
Something like that. But yeah, let's get on this term life and this whole life right quick. Kind of explain the difference between the two.
Gotcha. So yeah, because I know I've been speaking about the universal life, which is cash value you can get, but then the term life, for instance, like Daryl made he said something earlier about having insurance for his kids. He didn't say what type of insurance, but I'm going to use that as an example. So like, you have 2 kids and you just want to make sure that they're covered for a certain amount of time, because by the time they turn 30 years old, they should be responsible enough to get their own insurance. A term insurance policy is for a limited amount of time. It could be 10-year, it could be a 15-year, it could be a 20-year, a 30-year. So it just depends. The term is a more inexpensive policy, and it's more affordable. So it's definitely one that I would consider when we go back to saying what type of policy would you recommend for somebody. It depends on their income, but a term policy would be something that I would recommend. But at the same time, I will have to inform them that after that term is up, you get a 20-year term policy. After 20 years, it's over. You die at 22 years, you don't have an insurance policy. It's nothing going to cover you. You have to make sure when you have a term policy that you are going to get soon or within that 20 years another policy, or you got to know for a fact, I'm going to be so wealthy after 20 years that I'm not going to need the insurance policy. Like Daryl was saying earlier, I know that I'm going to be a millionaire by 20 years and I'll be able to pay for my own insurance myself then, or I'll be able to pay for my own burial myself then. That's a whole nother thing. So 20 years.
Basically, the difference between term and whole life is basically term cost is way cheaper than whole or universal life.
Exactly. And the cost is the biggest thing. So I recommend, going back when we started off, family, middle income, low income, I would recommend a term policy for them, just for starters to get going, because guess what? Our today's situation does not determine our future.
Correct.
Meaning we had low income today, but God has promised us something in 10 more years, and we definitely leaning on it by faith. So having said that, I will recommend a term policy because of the cost of the policy. Definitely.
But don't let that be the reason why you get the term. If you can afford the universal life, it's better to go ahead and get that, because for the life of the loan, you're paying the same amount. It does have cash value where and that you can pull out. You can actually pull this money out, and it's like a loan, and you have to pay. Well, you don't have to pay it back, but it's better if you do pay it back.
Right.
With term life, you don't get those same options. And like Ursula said, at the end, if you get a 10-year term, 20-year term, 30-year, whatever, at the end of that term, all the money that you put in, if you don't die within them years, that money is basically gone. So that's why they can give it to you for so cheap.
Yeah, but once if you have a term policy and it's a 30-year term, and after 5 to 10 years your income increased so much, I recommend us doing a conversion. You give me a call, we'll get it switched over
Right.
to the whole life. Whole life covers you for the rest of your life. Yes, you'll be paying on it every month for the rest of your life as well. But can I say one quick? I want to talk about one thing really quick. This is really important because I had this situation to come up in my office. A young lady in her 20s had an insurance policy. She had it saved on her computer. No paper for mom and dad have mine. Nobody knows she has an insurance policy. She dies. Nobody can get into her computer. Nobody knew that the policy was right on her computer desktop. It is so important to let somebody know that you have a life insurance policy so they can get to it.
Oh, I gave all my kids a copy of it. Each time I changed it, I gave each one of them a copy of it. Then they looked at me like, "Hey, everything okay, Dad? You all right?" "Yeah, I'm all right. I'm just making sure y'all prepared, and ain't gonna be no misunderstandings when I do pass away."
And it is so important. People, please, if you are watching this, please do not be ashamed to talk about death. Do not be ashamed to talk about insurance policies. Do not be ashamed to prepare today for what can happen tomorrow or tonight.
Right.
Because life is not promised to nobody.
Yeah, it's one of the things that we hate to talk about, but we need to talk about because it's just no one wants to think about death. But I'll tell you this, as you get older, you start thinking about it a little bit more each day versus when you're young, it just don't even cross your mind. You're like, man, I'm gonna live forever or whatever the case might be. So it's always important. And it don't have to be, and see, that's the problem. When we in the hospital, we want to talk about this stuff. No, talk about it while you healthy and you of sound mind where you can make good decisions and go out here and do what's right for you and your kids or family or whatever the case might be.
Yes, absolutely. Good information. Yep.
Well, Ursula, we definitely enjoyed the information.
Thank you.
Definitely enjoyed your presence on the show. You looking so nice as usual. Just want to throw that out there.
She hadn't aged a bit.
Oh, y'all gonna make me take my glasses off on you now.
You just want to do that.
Like a bottle of that expensive wine just gets better with time.
I'm telling you, that's the good thing about drinking expensive wine.
Yep, and again,
it makes you say
for those who are just tuning in, number for Ursula is area code 901-240-5257. She's a licensed life and health insurance agent, as well as amongst other things. So give her a shout out. This life insurance and stuff is very crucial and very important. So just reach out to her. That's all I can say.
We appreciate you coming on the show. We hope you come back because we got some more life insurance questions.
I would be honored. Anytime. Whatever I can help out you guys in any way. I am an information piece that God is using, and I'm here to be used, and that's what I do. Whatever way I can help people, that's it.
We are also looking forward to a future sponsor, so I hope we can go ahead and get this commercial together.
Yes, we're going to be working on that. I would love to be a future sponsor, definitely.
No doubt. Well, we appreciate you coming on, Ursula. If you would, just hang on in the green room for a minute while we finish the show out. T-Will, another great show.
Yeah, man. I mean, very informative, man. I enjoy these shows, more so than any others, man. Anything that we can do to help our community or provide knowledge or things that, individuals wouldn't normally know about or willing to discuss, man. This stuff right here is good stuff. So I think we did a good job.
And I'll say this, again, this is why we created this platform. We normally reach out to people, But if someone wants to reach out to us and has a great topic that they want to talk about and they want to come on the show and not just anybody. Now, we ain't gonna let anybody on the show. We gotta, we gotta feel confident in you that when you come on the show, you're gonna do, because we got a certain standard that we want to live up to. But we welcome this, and this is why we created this platform. We almost at the hour mark. So Terry, you got anything in departing?
No, I don't have anything, man. I'm just wishing everybody a happy and prosperous 2021, and hope you had a great holiday on yesterday.
Yeah, the only thing I want to say is if y'all want to give us a late Christmas present, go like and subscribe to the channel In the Clutch Sports Talking More podcast on YouTube. We want to thank Ursula again for calling in. I mean, for being on the show. We want to thank all of the comments in the comment sections. And as usual, you guys have been in the clutch, and you guys were clutch.
Clutch.
We are back, bigger and better than ever. Be sure to check out In the Clutch Sports Talking More podcast, Tuesdays, 11 a.m. Central Time. And don't forget the other shows hosted by In the Clutch, Freaky Fridays, 7 p.m. Central Time on YouTube only. Also check us out on Saturdays, Open Topic Saturdays, 3 p.m. Central. Both shows hosted by Show